into the lights. Okay.
All right, stand by, please. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And rolling.
Bruce, good morning.
Good morning.
It is so nice to be able to talk with you again, this time in Washington, D.C., because we were here last night for the premiere of In Country. I must tell you, a marvelous motion picture.
Thank you.
Your performance is, in a word, extraordinary.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm glad you liked it.
I think, Bruce, that a lot of people are going to be so surprised to see you doing this kind of role. So, knowing how Hollywood operates, I wonder if you had to do a real campaign, a real selling job to get the role.
Well, not really. I really kind of chased this film down. We had to fit this film in between the time off that I had from my television schedule. At the time when I went after the film, we really didn't know then how much different it was going to turn out, and how much of a departure it was going to be from the other things that I had done. It certainly turned out that way. It's a very different look for me, and a very different kind of character. These are things as you're creating a character that get built kind of step by step, and as we went along, I really did change quite a bit.
For one thing, you must have gained a lot of weight.
Well, not a lot. I gained some weight. The last time we spoke was when I was doing press for Die Hard, and I had just come off that film where I kind of had to get in shape and exercise a lot. And for this film, I really knew that I had to age, and so I kind of let myself go a little bit.
Was it hard to lose the weight then?
A little bit. At the same time that I was shooting this film, my wife was pregnant with our child, and she was eating 6 or 7 times a day, and I mean she would only eat a little bit of food 6 or 7 times a day, but I would eat 6 or 7 full meals a day, so it was actually pretty easy to gain the weight. But there were other things too. There were other internal things that I went through to get ready for this character that were a lot more difficult to find than just the external part of it.
By that, do you mean that you had to really examine how you felt about Vietnam? Well,
not so much that, as much as I had to leave behind a lot of the shtick and a lot of the technique that I generally use in approaching a character. I really there were no wisecracks in this, no joking around kind of qualities. So I really had to approach this from a very different level, a very different attitude.
The first time you met with Norman Jewison, did he seem receptive to the idea of Bruce Willis being in this movie, or Bruce Willis being able to do this role?
I think so. I think Norman's main concern was that I would be able to bring the sensitivity to the role, and while I knew that I was certainly capable of that, in the work that I had done up to that point, I don't think it was really evident in what I had done. But this role was a lot closer to things that I had done in New York on stage, so I knew that I would be able to get to it. We just had to convince Norman of that.
Had Emily Lloyd already been cast?
She was set. Yeah, she had already been set.
Did you have any concern about an English girl playing a Kentucky girl?
No, I had a lot of faith in Norman. He what he saw in her really was a very youthful quality. She has the ability to play a 17-year-old. Most of the girls that he saw for this part were 17 going on 30. and Emily brought a very very fresh quality to the screen, and I really think she did a wonderful job.
I agree. I agree. The first time you saw the Vietnam Memorial, what went through your mind, Bruce?
It was a very shocking experience to see all those names in one place. It was like being in church. It was like being in a hallowed place. The first thing that I remember thinking was that before they ever think about having another war, they should go look at this monument, and to see 55,000 names of all in one place is just a very sobering experience.
That scene is so moving. I don't think anybody will ever be able to see it with dry eyes.
It's one of the things that I like about that that scene is that Norman dealt with it he had a very light touch, and I think it would be very easy to over sentimentalize that scene, and I think that he just dealt with it in terms of the character's behavior, and so much of what is communicated in this film is done without actors speaking words, and I was really quite proud of that so much of the response and the reaction that we've gotten to this has been on what is communicated without anything being said.
Bruce, very quickly before we have to wrap this up, will there be Die Hard 2?
Yeah, they're going to call it Die Harder. They are. You laugh, but yeah, we kind of. Yeah, we are. We're gonna actually start shooting that this fall in Los Angeles. It's more bad guys, more guns, I guess, more explosions.
And more hanging by your fingernails.
Yeah, more hanging by my fingernails.
Well, that was a whole different thing. It was a marvelous picture.
Yeah.
It was highly successful,
Mm-hmm.
multi-million-dollar. I hope this one does very well for
Thank
you
you
also.
very much.
And Bruce, it was lovely seeing
Thanks
you
for having me
again.
here. Okay.
Okay.
There we go. Thank you very much. It's always so
Excellent.
nice talking to you.
Thank you.